Hello, grade 2, and welcome to our lesson. Today we will be learning the characteristics of a mystery story. And since we have been reading the book Autoline and the Yellow Cat, written by Chris Riddle, we will be using that as our example of a mystery story. And we will start with a short summary just to remind us what we have read already. Autoline and the Yellow Cat is a story about a girl called Autoline Brown, an exceptionally inquisitive mistress of disguise, and her partner in crime, Mr. Monroe. For these two, no puzzle is ever too tricky for them to solve. Autoline lives in a stylish apartment in Big City with a small hairy creature called Mr. Monroe. Together they look after the Brown family's many collections, and they double in a spot of detective work. So they are the first to the scene of the crime when a string of high society dog nappings and jewel thefts hits Big City. Autoline, who luckily has a diploma from the Who Are You Academy of Disguise, and Mr. Monroe go undercover and expose an ingenious scam masterminded by a furry crook, the Yellow Cat. And I believe you have read all the chapters that I sent to you, so you know what happened next. You have met these characters already: Mr. Monroe, Autoline, the two friends always together, and this other one here. I believe you know who this character is because you have read the 3 chapters already. Now, just to remind you, you need to know what a mystery is. A mystery is something that is difficult or impossible to understand or explain. It can be a secret, a riddle, or a puzzle, hence needs intelligence in order to reveal the unknown. Do you know any mysteries? Well, then we will come straight away to look at the elements that we are looking at. Those are the characteristics. And we will start with the first one, which are the characters. Now, the characters found in a mystery story have specific names, so we will be knowing them as suspects, for example. These are characters who may have caused the problem the mystery is trying to solve. And I believe that you know who the suspect was in the story of Autoline and the Yellow Cat. Then we have detectives or investigators. These are the ones who try to solve the mystery. And in our story, there is Autoline and Mr. Monroe. I believe that you understand that now. Then we go to the setting. The setting, as we already know, is the location or the place where the story takes place. That is easy. The plot here is a bit different for a mystery story because we have something that is not always found in other stories. In this story, we're going to have a problem or a puzzle that needs to be solved. Then we will have something that is missing. Then there could be a secret and an event that is not explained. And mostly, many mystery plots will use suspense. Now, suspense means that the reader does not know the solution while he or she is reading the mystery. The next element is the clue. Now, clues are hints that help the detective and reader to solve the mystery. They can be things people say or do, or objects that are found. Like in the story that we have read of Otto Lion and the Yellow Cat, we saw very many objects that they used to collect, and those are the clues that they had. The next ones are the distractions. Now, being distracted means that something that is leading you away from what you need to focus on. For example, in this case, you need to focus on the investigation because you're now a detective. So if something is not allowing you to focus on being a good detective, that is a distraction. These can be, for example, the clues that do not add up to a solution but make you to search longer. It's like they don't want you to find a solution. That is a distraction. The structure remains the same, like we have seen in other stories. We have the introduction, we have the body of the story, where somebody is working to solve a mystery. Then we have the conclusion, where the mystery is solved. Then we will have to know some few words that we will need to know when writing a mystery story or when reading a mystery story. You will come across a word, alibi. Now, an alibi is an excuse that an accused person uses to show that he or she was not at the scene of crime. Maybe somebody knows they did something, but they don't want to be found guilty, so they will make an excuse. They will have an alibi. Breakthrough. The breakthrough is easy. It means that you have discovered or solved the crime. Then there is a clue. We have seen that already. That is a fact or an object that gives information towards solving the crime. Then the crime. A crime is an action that breaks the law, like stealing. What is another crime? I think I forgot. Then we have the deduction. A deduction is to make conclusions. If, for example, you have been solving the problem and then you have used all the clues and you found maybe the solution, you have made a deduction. Then we have the detective. We have met detectives like Mr. Monroe. Do you remember another one? The detective is an investigator looking for and gathering clues. Then we have the evidence, is a thing or statement that helps to prove who committed the crime. If you need to prove something happened, you need to have evidence. Do you remember the evidence that they had to prove what happened? If you have forgotten, you will need to go back and read again. A hunch. A hunch is a guess or a feeling not based on a fact. For example, you can feel like something good is going to happen. You're not sure whether it's going to happen or not. So that's a hunch. Motive. A motive is a reason that a person does something. Why did you do it? What was the reason for you to do that? Do you remember what you did? What was your reason? That is a motive. It can be maybe you were angry, you hated something, or maybe you loved it, or you had a lot of greed. That is motive. Lastly, we will look at the pointers that will help you to become a good reading detective. You will need to be a good detective if you can collect information when you're reading, read and look carefully for clues, decide what is important and what might be misleading, be curious, ask questions. Why? Who? What? You remember those questions. Then find links and make connections. For example, what happened after that? What was the next step? From here, where did they go next? And then come up with ideas using the information that you have gathered. And I believe that you will keep reading the story and you will find more ideas from the story. And that is it for today. If you did not really quite understand everything, I would like you to listen one more time before you go to answer the questions that follow after this video. Thank you very much for your time.